the whole continent. Different regions, different countries, the issues are different.
Hello and welcome to viewers of
I'm not
Good
going
Morning
to oversimplify
DRC
here.
TV.
But let's look at Africa as a family.
Today is
Let's break
Thursday,
it down
the
to
15th
your own family.
of May.
Born of the same mother
Today,
and father,
I want to
and
bring
yet
you
we
a
are so
clip.
different.
And
And me
clip
as a mother of 5, how I
has
approach
basically made
one
me
child is going to be
lose
different from
all
how I approach
respect
the other child.
as far as
There are a lot
knowledge
of
is
good news coming out
concerned
of
that
Africa
I
today.
had for Dr. Arikana. I
And let
watched
me
a
remind
lot
our
of what she
audience
says
that
on
we
Africa.
cannot continue
And
to
I
paint Africa with the
admire her in
same
a
old
certain
rugged
way
brush,
for her
because there
thoughts
is change
and
in
the
Africa.
vision
Yes,
that
we have some
she
leaders
envisioned for Africa.
that need to do better.
But after watching
But
this,
we also equally have a lot of leaders
to be honest, I'm really
who are
shocked,
doing very
and
well in
I
Africa.
don't
Let's
know
take, for
what's
example,
happened to her.
a country that I
and
like to speak
frankly,
of,
I don't
Rwanda.
recognize her at all
Rwanda,
in terms
yes,
of
some
the
might
balance
say
that she normally
President
has in
Kagame
what she
has
says.
overstayed.
But
He
before
needs to
I
go. But
comment
let's
or say
look at
anything else, I'm
23 years
inviting you
ago.
to listen with me,
Rwanda
and then I
was
will place
in
my
genocide.
comment afterwards. So
23 years
let me
later,
just play this for you
Rwanda
so you
is
can
one of the most
basically
well-run countries in
hear
Africa.
from herself. Okay.
Rwanda is the only country on earth.
Let's start from here. Here we go.
To the whole continent. Different regions, different countries, the issues are different. I'm not going to oversimplify here.
Okay.
But let's look at Africa as a family.
Right.
Let's break it down to your own family.
Go ahead, break it down for us.
Born of the same mother and father,
Yes.
and yet we are so different.
Okay.
And me as a mother of 5, how I approach one child is going to be different from how I approach the other child.
Understandably.
There are a lot of good news coming out of Africa today.
Oh yes, tell us.
And let me remind our audience that we cannot continue to paint Africa with the same old rugged brush.
Well said.
Because there is change in Africa. Yes, we have some leaders that need to do better.
Okay.
But we also equally have a lot of leaders who are doing very well in Africa. Let's take, for example, a country that I like to speak of, Rwanda.
Okay. Okay, listen, everybody
Rwanda,
listen
yes,
here.
some might say President Kagame has overstayed. He needs to go. But let's look at 23 years ago. Rwanda was in genocide. 23 years later, Rwanda is one of the most well-run countries in Africa.
Well-run countries in Africa. Well-run countries in Africa. Now, let me just pause here. She said Rwanda is one of the well-run countries in Africa. Now, I don't know what metrics she's using to base her judgment. I would really love to know the metrics that she's using. If it's only one, economic, then I can understand why she's saying that. But I would really like to know what metrics she's using to base her judgment, okay? Or is it because of the economic situation that she's seeing in Rwanda? But let's just carry on. Let's continue to listen.
Female cabinet.
Are they elected or appointed?
Elected. No country comes.
Okay, maybe you didn't get that. Let me just rewind a little bit so you can understand the context of what she said.
The only country on earth with 64% female cabinet.
Are they elected or appointed?
Elected.
Okay, elected. 64 of members of cabinet are female. Okay, bravo to Rwanda for doing that. And then the next question was, are they appointed or elected? She said elected. Now, I don't know if she was there and she observed and she witnessed that all the 64 that she talks about were not appointed but elected. Nevertheless, let's go on.
No country comes even close. There are a lot of good news coming out of Africa. Let's take a situation like Rwanda. Then others might say Kagame needs to go. But precisely because Kagame has done incredible work in Rwanda,
Okay, right.
that's precisely the reason why the African leaders have appointed him to lead the reform process at the African Union. Why? We have a member of the family
Okay.
who's getting it right.
The member of the
So
family is
why
getting
should
it
we
right.
get rid of him? Instead, we need to say, whatever you have done for other country, for your people, we want you to also help us do the same thing for the rest of the continent.
So let me get this right. According to Dr. Arikana, one of the members of the family has done so well, and he needs to stay in power as long as possible so he can teach the other children in the continent what's the ways in which or how to do better the way that he has done. And here I'm asking myself a question right here. Has Dr. I want to be respectful, Dr. Arikana really done the research, and has she done the research and everything, and is she really balanced in what she's saying? So everybody should come and learn from Paul Kagame how to run a country. Now, has Dr. Arikana asked herself a question of the 12 million people that have died in the DRC? That Paul Kagame, through his M23 group, what used to be called AFDEL, CNDP, and RCD, and now M23, what they have done in the DRC. 12 million people have already died, so he can do what he's doing in Rwanda. So what you're saying is that everybody should come and learn from him how to invade a neighbor or neighboring country and kill and do everything that is happening there so that you can have access to the resources and then be able to plunder people and do whatever he's done there so you can build your country. I'm really shocked. I just don't understand. I understand she's a doctor. She's got a doctorate degree, which means that the world of research is supposed to be the world that she is to know about. You do research, you do your homework properly before you begin to make comments the way she is doing it. I'm surprised. After all that is going on there in the DRC, and she said people should come, other leaders should come and learn. And he said that they have chosen him. So the African leaders have chosen Kagame so they can go to him twice a year to learn how he's done what he's done. My God, what planet are we living in? What is going on? Let's carry on.
I'm saying what works for Rwanda may not necessarily work in the DRC, may not necessarily work in Zimbabwe or in Egypt. The issues of Africa are multifactorial, and we need to address them from one country to the other. However, we also have this general understanding of what is expected of the people, hence Agenda 2063. Agenda 2063 is a program agreed upon by all heads of states after consultation with the citizens of the continent. And we're now down to the 7 aspirations of the African people. That's the yardstick through which the African leaders are measuring their progress in their countries. Are we there yet? No. But it is a process. The fact that our leaders are coming to
Agenda 23 has 7 aspirations. I want to get my hands on what this agenda is all about. What is this agenda then? What are we talking about? I don't know if I'll be able to bring any. Let's go to this agenda. Okay, right. So let's see this Agenda 2063. Let's just go through some of what it says. Okay. Agenda 2063, adopted by the African Union in 2015, outlines a strategic framework for the social economic transformation of Africa over a 50-year period. Central to this framework are 7 key aspirations that reflect the collective vision for the Africa we want by the year 2063. 1. A prosperous Africa based on inclusive growth and sustainable development. 2. An integrated continent, politically united and based on the ideals of Pan-Africanism and the vision of Africans' Renaissance. 3. An Africa of good governance, democracy, respect for human rights, justice, and the rule of law. A peaceful and secure Africa. An Africa with a strong cultural identity, common heritage, shared values, and ethics. 6. An Africa whose development is people-driven, relying on the potential of African people, especially its women and youth, and caring for the children. Now, I don't know why it says especially the women and the youth. I don't know, but but they have their reasons as to why. 7. Africa as a strong, united, resilient, and influential global player partner. Now, my question is, in all of this, where does I'm trying to understand. So where does Kagame feature in all of this? Where exactly? If somebody can tell me, please, I would love to know. I would really love to know. Where does Kagame feature in all of this? And this is really important for me to know. Please, somebody can tell me. If somebody can tell me, please. How does that work? So I'm trying to play with my... Right. Can somebody really tell me where does Kagame feature in all of this? Because for all I know, what Dr. Arikana has just basically said, it's just basically flying over my head. But let me let you finish listening to what she has to say, and then I'll come back to this. Okay? Let me just carry on.
Together and meeting twice a year, reporting to President Kagame about the progress in their own countries.
Oh, listen. So the African leaders, they have agreed twice every year they will come to Paul Kagame and report what they're doing in their countries. So they're coming to report to him, they're coming to learn from him. I don't know. I'll go and dig a little bit more, but I tell you, I'm shocked and surprised. And this is why the DRC should never rely on the AU, the African Union. Should never. Because all this, the African Union did nothing out of the 12 million people that have died in the eastern part of Congo. They are a part of it as well. Because if you can see that and you're not doing anything to stop that, what you use is the African Union. Let's carry on.
That is huge. When you look at a continent of 55 countries, that's no easy task. That represents the continent, and yet the countries are sovereign nations. So recommendations could come from the AU. Let's look at the situation right now in DRC and the elections. We've got a situation in Burundi. Of course, the African Union is leading the discussions to make sure that there are going to be elections in those countries. But at the same time, these are sovereign nations.
Yes.
And so to the best that they can, the AU is playing a pivot.
Right here, I have to say, I don't know when this video was done. Either she is completely ignorant, she doesn't know what's going on in the DRC right now, because this video was posted, I think, about 2 days ago, and yet she's talking about elections that are supposed to be taking place now in the DRC and Burundi. That somebody has to tell me whether it was done a couple of years back, because if it's new, then that is just basically ignorance. She does not know that we've had elections last year. Let's carry on.
Role, trying to bring African solutions to African problems.
Wait. African solutions to African problem. Okay, so the killing in the DRC is whose problem? Is African problem. What solution has Africa brought to the problem that we have in DRC? African solution to African problem. It's been going on for 30 years. What has Africa or the African Union has done in order to solve the problem in the eastern part of the DRC? So African solutions to African problems. What has happened? Let's carry on.
It is not easy, but I have to say, we should take the issue in Gambia. That was a perfect example of what type of role the AU is playing in Africa. They're using the same approach in the DRC, in Burundi. So it is a process, it is complicated, but to the best that we can, the AU is our best choice.
You talk about DRC. What about the fact that
now
when
listen
you
to
cross
this
the
man.
river,
Listen
you
to
have
this man.
Congo, Brazzaville.
It's very, very important for you to hear what this man is saying here and what Dr. Arikana replies to this. Very important. Listen to the man.
Which just changed the constitution in order for Sassou Nguesso to become a life president. You have Rwanda, which has done the same. You have Uganda. You have Angola. You go to Equatorial Guinea, where you have the longest, leader, Teodoro Obiang. You have Cameroon. You have all those places sincerely. And yet, there is something that you have done so well. You do not accept to do business with any country where somebody seizes power through AK-47. Why don't you also make it the same condition that you, as a president, frankly, who swears to defend, protect, and abide by a constitution, you cannot change that constitution for personal or political reasons, really.
Right.
We do
Very
not
good.
do business with you. Why don't you do that?
Let's
That's
listen.
precisely what's happening in the DRC. The hope is that that constitution will not be changed and that elections will be held.
Okay, here I want to say again, this woman, when it comes to the DRC, I don't know what is her problem. Now, the people that are dying in DRC is none of her business. She doesn't care about it. She's not. Maybe she has talked about it on different occasions, but I don't know yet. Somebody maybe can guide me to hear where she's talking about the people that have died in Congo. Over 10 million people. She should know that. But it seems like she's more focused on this aspect of the DRC, but now she's talking about the Constitution. That the hope is that it should not be changed and that there will be elect. Now, who told this woman that the Constitution, first of all, elections have already taken place, and I don't know of any argument or problem that there was before election of changing the Constitution that I'm aware of. I don't know. Where did she get this from? I don't know. So let's ask ourselves a question. What Constitution was going to be changed before elections? Because there was no such thing in the DRC. The situation of the Constitution came after the election. It's after the second term of President Felix Tshisekedi that he wanted to put together, to bring together a body of Congolese in order to look and reflect on the Constitution, because that Constitution was not done properly. It was something that was done by the belligerents, and it's not for the good of the Congolese people. This is what President Felix Tshisekedi wanted, to bring people around, that is Congolese, to sit and question the things that were put in that constitution. One of the things in that constitution was that the DRC would give its sovereignty to another or other people in order to preserve the unity in the African Union. What crazy statement is that? That is absolute BS. Now, we need to understand that the reason why some people don't want that constitution to be changed is because it somehow benefits the people that are there, are Paul Kagame, Museveni, and Ruto, and other people that get together against the DRC. That's all there is to it. Because President Tshisekedi is not going to run for a third term. He's not going to do it. Even if the constitution changes, he's not going to do it. And here you will tell me, and I will question you, he's not going to run for a third term. No, he's done 2, and that's enough, and he's going to be out. Somebody else will replace him. We don't have a monarchy in the DRC. We're not about to have one there. It's called the Democratic Republic of the Congo. Let's carry on listening to Dr. Arikana.
Why didn't you do it with Rwanda? With Brazzaville? With the
Listen, the question was asked, why don't you do that with Rwanda? That is the constitution. Why didn't you stop Paul Kagame from changing the constitution? She was about to say, I cannot answer to that question. Let me just play that back a little bit so you can hear.
See, the hope is that that constitution will not be changed and that elections will be held.
So why didn't you do it with Rwanda? With Brazzaville? With Kampala?
So if you can see, her posture was already, I cannot answer to that question. So it seems like, all she's focusing about is what is going on in the DRC. And I really don't know, unless somebody tells me otherwise. But like I said, I've lost all respect that I had for her knowledge. I've lost it. Anyways, folks, that's all I had for you today, is that I've lost all respect for Dr. Arikana. If you have not subscribed, please do subscribe to our channel. Share this link with others. Let's talk about our country. Let's talk about our nation. Let's do something. If we don't, nobody will do it for us. I hope to see you in the next video. Take care of yourself. Bye-bye for now.